Driving around Romania, I was expecting to see gorgeous textiles, stunning mountain views, and interestingly cheery cemeteries. What I was not expecting was to see these houses covered in these amazing tiles. And what I really wasn't expecting was that this style of house facade, specifically this type of tile, was introduced in the communist era in the 1960s. And not by a Romanian designer, but by an Italian one, Gio Ponti, who created this type of bas-relief tile for a ceramic company in Milan, which he had used for some super fancy, super modern buildings all around the world. The relationship between capitalist Italy and communist Romania in the 40s and 50s was a little testy, but by the 1960s, they started to do some pretty good trade. Communist Romania would have a lot of dealings with capitalism, and we'll get to more of that later on. Anyway, factories began popping up in Romania making these tiles, and people started putting them on their homes in all types of incredibly intricate designs. But why? Why would individual homeowners put all of this effort into their homes? I also took a lot of pictures of older, more traditional homes, which usually have slightly more restrained ornament, although they can be very brightly colored, especially blue ones, and we'll get to that later too. So I've seen some people say that the designs on these buildings have no meaning at all. I would beg to differ. The zigzags and the diamond shapes are particularly apparent. These are classic Romanian ornamental designs that you can find in textiles, in woodwork, in pottery, you name it. Diamonds and zigzag shapes can have a myriad of meanings, from the life-giving properties of water to the division between heaven and earth itself. I think it also could be a reflection of sometimes the landscape. Some say these traditions are so old they date back to at least the Neolithic period. Were the people who were laying all of those tiles on those houses thinking about all of that? Maybe some yes, maybe some no. It also just could have been a giant FU to the government that was literally forcing people to destroy their own homes and force them to move into densely populated cities. Maybe it was a statement of pride in their culture and their way of life that they had kept for thousands of years. Today, sadly, the factories that produce those tiles have been largely shut down, and many of the buildings that have these beautiful designs have no public support in keeping up repairs. I highly encourage you to check out Tiles and Tiles, a duo that is trying to document as many of these places as possible. As always, keep following for more anti-authoritarian folk art history.